And we are sharing an insider list with you. It's 10 things to know when planning your retirement. And today we're joined by Dylan Bond. He's the owner of Bond Financial Services. He's going to tell us a little bit more. Dylan, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, Seth.
So this book that you have, if people have a one-on-one meeting with you, they get this book, but we're giving everybody a little insight into it today. It's the 10 tips. And the one that we're talking to about today is number 2, healthcare expenses.
Okay.
That's something that people don't even think about when you come into retirement.
No, as a matter of fact, there's a study done that's in the book that you referred to. 74% of people coming into retirement have not considered healthcare costs when planning their retirement.
That's wild.
Which is incredible when you consider the fact that with life expectancies being as long as they are in medical technology and in medical inflation growing like it is, I believe that healthcare costs are one of the #1 things that people need to focus on, or they could eat away a lot of their retirement savings paying for healthcare.
Well, that's what it says. You nearly need to have a $500,000 set, or rather, I'm sorry, $250,000 set aside for health-related expenses after you retire.
Yeah, statistically, a couple at 65 years old will need to expect to pay about $240,000 in healthcare costs over the course of their retirement. It's something that has to be considered. There's different ways of doing it. It's just making sure you use your money wisely. And when you're planning other aspects of your retirement, if you're considering healthcare costs as well, you can some ways combine the income planning, the liquidity planning, and the healthcare planning, so you're getting a little bit more out of what you're doing with your money.
I think a lot of people, when they're our age, they don't really think about it because they have their health care through their job, so it's not really a big issue for them. But yeah, when you retire and then health care goes away, it's amazing. Every bruise, every time you need to go to the hospital, you need to pay those co-pays and expenses, and it really adds up.
It does, and the thing I think that people need to understand is the sooner you start looking at options, the more options that are available. As we get older and the risk of healthcare issues starts to increase, the cost of planning for that type of emergency or that type of situation will go up rapidly as you get into your late 60s and into your 70s.
So what people need to do is they need to sit down with you and realize that you need to start putting away those pockets of money. You need, discretionary income, you need healthcare income. So that's why sitting down with a financial planner can really help to pave your course.
Yeah, I mean, we boil it down to 3 basic types of healthcare planning costs. There's going to be critical illness potential, there's going to be chronic illness potential, terminal illness potential, and then also you need to have some type of medical or health insurance to pay your day-to-day doctor visits.
So Dylan, let's recap. In this book and in our tips, the first tip is know that you're going to live a pretty long life, so you need to plan a lot for that.
That's right.
And then the second tip kind of goes on that. You're going to live a while, so you're going to need to have money to pay for pretty high medical expenses.
The longer you live, obviously, the more doctor bills you're going to have, and the more you need to prepare for that.
Well, Dylan, thank you so much. But hey, you stick around and you stick around. Don't go anywhere, because when Mass Appeal returns, we're going to share the next tip for saving for retirement. So we are back with Dylan Bond. He's the owner of Bond Financial Services, and we are talking retirement planning. Dylan, thanks for sticking around.
No problem.
So we have 10 tips to help you plan a successful retirement. Tip 1, know that you're going to live a long time, so you need to plan for it.
Right.
Tip 2, healthcare costs. They're expensive.
They're going to be expensive, yeah.
Now, tip 3, and this is something that a lot of people don't think about, especially when they're younger. You need to get your housing plan figured out.
Yeah, what I recommend is when we're working with people that are getting to the point where they're considering retirement, maybe 50 or older, is to start thinking about, do you want to keep the house you're in now? A lot of times people want to downsize. The kids are gone and they have too much space. They want to downsize, free up some cash to help them finance their retirement, and then also maybe get on a single level. So as you get older and those healthcare costs start to creep in, it'll be easier to manage around the house, and the smaller your footprint of your home, obviously the less cost it is to maintain.
You'll probably spend a lot less on healthcare if you only have to deal with walking up no stairs at all.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we have all these tips, and they're all in your book, and now you get this book when people come in and have a one-on-one meeting.
Yeah, I mean, what we do normally is we have the seminars that we do on a week-to-week basis.
That's 7 ways to not outlive your money.
Yeah, it's 7 fundamental ways to not outlive your money. We try to do 1 a week. We've got them coming up at Leone's in Springfield. We have them coming up at the La Cucina de Hamden House in Hamden. And then we're going to be up at Tucker's in Southwick. The best thing to do is call George at my office. and get the times and dates as far as availability. Seating is limited and they fill up somewhat quickly.
They've been selling out faster and faster too.
Yeah. So the bottom line is to call George and get on the list. Really what we're looking to do is target people that are at or near retirement for these programs. That's what they're geared for. So usually about 50 or older. But what you got to think about when it comes to your housing plan is if you have a mortgage, does it make sense to pay that mortgage off before you retire? And the way I look at that is if it's a $100,000 mortgage and you're paying $1,000 a month on it, that's $12,000 a year in cash flow that if you pay that off before you retire, you'll free up and won't need to cover when you're considering your retirement income plan.
So maybe it's kind of best to get all your ducks out of the way. You know what I mean? Try to pay off as much as you can so that it's more smooth sailing when it's time to retire.
Yeah. I mean, if possible, I think the lower your expenses are when you get to retirement, the less income you're going to need to cover those expenses, and the less income you need to draw on a month-to-month basis over the course of your retirement, you'll have the potential for lower tax brackets and pay a lot less taxes over that time as well. And so it all gels together.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important when we sit down and talk to people that we cover and talk about the whole picture, because everything has some type of influence or effect on everything else that you do. So it's one decision made will affect something else, and if you're not looking at the whole picture,
exactly,
you might miss something or create a problem that you didn't consider when you made the decision.
And it's one thing listening to us, chat about it, but everyone's financial blueprint and fingerprint is different. So you got to come in and sit down and chat with you, Dylan. But hey, I want to thank you for chatting with us today.
All right, thank you,
It's a pleasure
Seth.
to have you here. I'm loving these tips. So you can visit bondfinancialservices.net or give them a call, 413-754-4747. Just let Dylan and his staff take the steps to secure your financial future.